everyone, and welcome to the Political Job Interview, where I interview candidates running for election. I'm Vincenzo Calla, the host, and today I take on the role as the boss, giving a job interview to today's candidate, Nour Kadri. Nour is running for election for Ottawa City Council as a candidate for Mayor of Ottawa. Thank you, Nour, for your time, and thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Vincenzo, for the interview, and I look forward to being part of that.
Well, it's great to have you here on this municipal election series, and without further ado, let's get this job interview started. As with any good job interview, I'm going to start off with an opportunity to learn more about Nour. So the first question is, can you tell me a bit about yourself and your story?
I am Nour Kadri. I'm a professor at the University of Ottawa, and I'm the CEO of Skyline Health Systems. Got a lot of great life experiences. It started mainly when my father passed away at the age of 8. My father was a policeman, and my mother was a teacher. And at the age of 8, my father passed away in a snowstorm. And that was kind of a life-changing event for me, because I went to work before I turned 9. And I worked in farming, I worked in a lot of jobs in money exchange, in construction, as a security guard, at the jewelry store, you name it, I've done it. And I kept studying. I studied computer science, and I did a master's in computer science. And then I started to look for places to do my PhD. And then I decided to immigrate to Canada. I came to Canada at the age of 24, and 24 years later, I am here. I've worked in various places. I started as a consultant working for the Canadian government during the Y2K problem in 98 in the late 90s. And then I worked for Newbridge Networks as a telecom engineer, and Alcatel Networks. And then I managed many government online projects. And I started to teach at the University of Ottawa in September 1st, 2002. So tomorrow it's going to be 20 years at the University of Ottawa. I taught at other institutions. I taught at the University of Quebec in Ottawa in their master's program in project management and their MBA program. I also taught at the Academy of Diplomacy at Loughborough University in London in the UK. I teach in economic and digital diplomacy in their program. I've had many stints in politics. In 2008, I was the director of national outreach for the Liberal Party of Canada. I worked between 2008 and 2013 with the National Democratic Institute of Washington. So I've gone with them to many emerging democracies, teaching about coalition building, election readiness, and political leadership. I've worked also for in the high-tech sector with Trialstat Corporation. I was the director of research and development, the director of compliance and audit. And I co-founded a company called SOCAD. It's the leading edge of managing complex projects in project management. I became a certified project management professional by the Project Management Institute in 2003. So this is one of my domains. The highlight of my experience at the University of Ottawa is I teach in 3 programs: in the master's program in electronic business, in the master's program in engineering management, where I teach advanced reliability engineering and advanced project management. And I also teach in the regular and executive MBAs in strategic management and technology strategy and leadership.
So you have a lot of experience there, and you've talked about a lot of your educational experience and your work experience and your political experience. And I wanted to ask you, what made you decide to run for this position, and why are you deciding to run for mayor?
Well, I've always strived to make a difference wherever I am, whether a student working on the Researchers Union. As a professor, I was the vice president of the Union of Professors twice. I was that's an elected position. I was a member of the bargaining committee twice too. Again, that's an elected position. I would try to make a difference and improve the lives of the people around me. Now, the city of Ottawa is in shambles. There are lots of challenges that we have, whether it is on LRT, whether it is on being on par like other capital cities of G7 nations, at least. I think we are far behind. We've got two choices. We either complain about it or we roll our sleeves and be part of the solution. And I chose to do the second one.
So let's take a bit of time now to talk about this job and really what you bring to it. So I wanted to ask you first off, what experience do you bring to this job? What's some important experience if you were to choose some important experience?
As I told you, I'm an expert in advanced reliability engineering, and I would want to have reliable public transit for people, whether it is a bus system that takes you from where you want to go on time to where you would want to reach, whether having an LRT system that is safe, robust, and reliable for the people. I believe managing big projects for the city has been failing. And I bring a lot of experience to extreme project management on how we should do, whether it is sourcing or proper procurement practices. I taught a lot on governance and ethics, and mainly the good, the bad, and the ugly in terms of the practices. And we need a lot of that at the city of Ottawa in making sure that we adopt the best practices of good governance in place, and specifically aspects that have to do with transparency and high ethics. And we need to bring that to the city, and I could champion this. One thing probably I forgot to tell you that I've done a lot of work also in economics and in building models in labor economics with econometrics research. And this is a place where also I can use my economic experience. The city of Ottawa is a $6 billion corporation. We've got $3.5 billion in debt, $250 million to service that debt. We cannot keep going into structural debt. We have to look at best practices of city financing, and this is what I bring to this job. We cannot, in this type of situations where we have a dire challenges in terms of affordable housing. Inflation is at 40 years high. We're at 7 to 8% of inflation these days. And a lot of options where people think about is how can we increase taxes, okay? And I want to be an inflation buster, and I've got the capabilities in order to do this. We will look for efficiencies on how we can do it in some situations. I know there are some aspects that we cannot change because, for instance, there's a lot of salaries at the city of Ottawa. There are collective agreements with unions that have been negotiated by 13 unions along the as part of the city. There are ambulances that need gas that is high. So there are costs that you cannot look at, but we can utilize economies of scale in other situations in order to minimize some of the other costs and make sure that we keep taxes low for the public. I have a vision, I have a plan in order to implement this, taking some leadership and stewardship on the environment. The city of Ottawa has the largest number of scientists and engineers of any Canadian city per capita, which is second to San Francisco in North America. Yet we don't harness that. We would like to utilize this and make sure the city of Ottawa is a smart city. 82% of the city of Ottawa land is rural. We've got about 1,100 farms in the city of Ottawa. Less than 100 of those are smart farms. We want to make sure that we have more smart farms, and that's going to be good for farmers. That's going to be good for the public that are going to be paying for the groceries at the stores. In general, and we can improve the supply chains, and this is very important also for food security for the city of Ottawa and its surrounding. So we've got a plan for this, and we're gonna put it in place in order to make sure that the city of Ottawa moves from good to great.
And I'm sure we'll continue talking about that plan in the following segment where we talk about your plans and what you want to bring to the people. But before that, I want to ask you, there's a lot of candidates on the ballot for mayor. And I want to ask you, what sets you apart from all of them, from all the other candidates?
Well, this is a very good question, Vincenzo, because everybody who is putting their name on the ballot, they have a reason. I know that there are many of those candidates that they've got some good ideas, and they want to bring them to the city in order to run the city. The combination of my experiences sets me apart from the rest, because you might have a problem in plumbing, and you probably can bring a plumber to do it, and you can have a problem in electricity and bring an electrician to fix it. But when you have multiple problems at the city of Ottawa, the variety of experiences that I have are going to be so useful. And I believe no other candidate have the experience that I've got, neither on governance or on technology and intelligence and harnessing security and smart city aspects, nor on reliability that is highly needed in procurement and running the city well when it comes to public transit. I am a politician, a diplomat, and a business person and a professor. So the variety of experiences that I bring are what is needed for the city of Ottawa. Some people, they say that they are not a political person, or they are not a politician at all, for instance, and they're signing up for a highly political job. It's the mayor of the capital of a G7 nation. And you've got some other people who are career politicians and don't see the other angles. I can see the other angles. I'm a consensus builder, and I've got the capability in order to make the right decisions at the table to make sure that we move the city in the right direction.
So part of serving as an elected official and serving as mayor is serving those people who elect you. So here's a few questions about how Nour wants to serve the people. This first one is, what is something, if you could choose something that the people of Ottawa need that you want to get done if you become mayor, if you're elected? What's something that they need that you want to do?
Well, we need to make sure that the challenges that the people are facing when it comes to finances are not exacerbated by additional city taxes. I'm going to look at best practices for city financing in order to make sure that we lift those off the burden of the taxpayers in the city of Ottawa. I'll give you an example. For instance, there are hundreds of billions of dollars that are being invested in the green economy these days, whether it's green housing, green infrastructure. And these monies are available by banks, infrastructure banks, venture capitals. Only 15% of that makes it to the cities. And that's on average. I doubt that the city of Ottawa gets to that level of this 15%. We're going to think outside the box and go beyond the conventional when it comes to city financing, and bring these monies into the city for investment. This is going to be good for the environment, and this is going to be good for the economy. We're going to create green collar jobs with such initiatives in Ottawa, and we are going to act as an inflation buster in that sense.
And before we go into the next question, there's been a question I've been asking my mayoral candidates. And just on the point of the provincial government's proposed new strong mayor powers, I just, if you could just say yes or no, would you support or use those strong mayor powers if you were to become elected as mayor?
I support the strong mayor powers. This is recognition of the city of Ottawa as the capital, as an important city, and as one of the key cities in the province of Ontario, next to Toronto. And but I'm a professor of strategic management. I've always thought about leadership, and a good leader would rally others around his or her vision. So I am going to be a consensus builder, and I will use those powers only in rare situations when they need my interference. Otherwise, we'll use the what is available for us in the toolbox. The strong mayor's power is just an additional tool in the box that we have, and we will use it in rare situations only responsibly.
And final question now, I wanted to ask you, what's one accomplishment that you have achieved that demonstrates why you would be a good elected official if the people choose you?
Well, there are a lot of accomplishments. One of the things that I can tell you, when I was working with the National Democratic Institute in Washington in emerging democracies, I worked with them, for instance, in Egypt, and I worked with 17 different political parties. One time they wanted to have political parties to come and work together to build coalitions in elections. There were some political parties that are just fighting with each other. Over 3 sessions, I brought those political parties together, and by the end of the 3rd session, we had an agreement where 12 of 13 political parties signed up to be part of that coalition. So I put targets, and I moved the needle towards those targets, and I achieved those targets.
So thank you, Nour, so much for joining me today. It was great having you. We had a great discussion. I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed hearing this. Election day is October 24th, 2022. And if you liked hearing what Nour Kadri had to say and live in Ottawa, you have the opportunity to vote for him on election day. Check with the local election officials for more details. To stay updated, make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at VC Productions25. Check out VincenzoCalla.com, my website. Make sure to like, subscribe, and choose to get notifications here on YouTube. The Political Job Interview is a VCalla production. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.